I was the only one not invited for Christmas. 2 days later, everyone was talking about the scandal at this perfect gathering. There is no deeper pain than becoming invisible to the very people you gave life to. Today, I'm going to tell you something I never thought I would share. And if you for a single second feel that this sounds familiar, I just ask you to leave a like and subscribe. It will help me keep letting it all out. It is 7 a.m. on December 23rd in New York City, and I, Eleanor Ellie Miller, am standing in front of the bathroom mirror of my small apartment on the Upper West Side. My hands are trembling as I put on the pearl earrings my late George gave me 30 years ago. The same ones I've worn every family Christmas Eve since then. The same ones that today, for the first time in 3 decades, no one will see. The aroma of fresh coffee mixes with that of the shortbread cookies I've been baking since 5 a.m, a tradition I inherited from my mother, who in turn inherited it from hers. Cookies my grandchildren looked forward to every Christmas, which my children asked me to pack in special containers to take home. Cookies that this year will stay here, with me, silent witnesses to my exclusion. My phone rests on the kitchen table, silent as a tomb. It hasn't rung in 2 days. 2 days ago, I sent the last message to my eldest son, Ethan. Son, do you need me to bring anything for Christmas Eve dinner? I already have the classic roast turkey prepared just the way you like it. He never replied. Then I wrote to Sarah, my youngest daughter. My love, what time do you want me there on the 24th? Should I bring the eggnog the kids love so much? She didn't reply either. Finally, I called Ryan, my middle son, the one who was always more affectionate. His wife Chloe answered with that syrupy sweet voice she uses when she wants to be cruel without sounding like it. Oh, Ellie, didn't they tell you? This year we're doing something more intimate. Just the immediate family, you know. The kids are so busy with their activities. Immediate family. As if 45 years of marriage to their father, as if being the mother who bore them, raised them, educated them, and loved them unconditionally, didn't qualify me as immediate family. I stood there holding the phone while I heard laughter in the background. I recognized the voice of my 17-year-old granddaughter, Madison, asking, "Was that Grandma? Tell her she can't come. You promised we could invite my friends this time." I hung up before hearing anything more. Since then, I've been here, in this 2-bedroom apartment where I've lived since I sold the family house. A house I sold to divide the money among my 3 children, to help them with their mortgages, their businesses, their investments in the stock market. A 4-generation home that I converted into liquidated assets for them, thinking my generosity would secure my place in their hearts. How naive I was. I sit on the beige sofa I bought at Bloomingdale's with my savings, the one that doesn't match anything but is comfortable for my arthritic legs. Beside me, on the side table, rests the family portrait from last Christmas. There we all are, me in the center, smiling, with George on my right. It was his last Christmas, though we didn't know it, and our 3 children with their families forming a semicircle around us. Ethan, my firstborn, dressed in that expensive suit he bought with the bonus from his banking job. A serious man of 48 who inherited his father's green eyes, but not his warmth. His wife Candace, an ambitious woman who works in marketing and has always treated me like old furniture to be tolerated at family gatherings. Their 15-year-old twin sons, Liam and Noah, more interested in their phones than in conversing with their grandmother. Sarah, my only daughter, 43, divorced, with that forced smile she adopted after her ex-husband left with his secretary, taking half of her assets. She works as an accountant and has raised my granddaughter Madison alone, a teenager who used to adore me and now looks at me as if I were a nuisance. And Ryan, my 40-year-old youngest, the one who was always my favorite, though I never told him. The one who called me Mommy until he was 30. The one who is now married to Chloe, a woman who came into our lives like a fresh breeze and became a destructive hurricane. They have 2 small children, 8-year-old Ava and 5-year-old Henry, who are my absolute weakness. In that photo, everyone is smiling. Everyone is hugging. Everyone looks like a united, happy family. It was a lie, of course. But I still had hope. I pick up the photo with hands that now show age spots, with veins mapped like roots that led me nowhere. I remember that exact moment. George had just told one of his bad dad jokes, and we were all laughing, not because it was funny, but because it was tradition, because that's what the Millers did at Christmas. We laughed together, we ate together, we pretended our problems didn't exist. George died in February, a sudden heart attack while watering the plants on the balcony. By then, the problems could no longer be pretended away. By then, the true nature of my children had begun to show. After the funeral came the conversations about the inheritance. Conversations from which I was delicately excluded. "Mom, don't worry about these complicated things. We'll take care of it." George had left everything in my name, of course, as is appropriate for a 45-year marriage. But somehow, my children convinced me that the best thing was to optimize the tax situation. They had me sign papers I didn't fully read. They talked to me about taxes, about lifetime gifts, about estate planning, terms that sounded so professional, so caring coming from their mouths. "It's for your own good, Mom. That way you won't have to worry about a thing." And I, a recent widow, destroyed by grief, blindly trusting the children I had raised to be good people, signed. I transferred properties, accepted joint accounts that gradually emptied, yielded control of investments George had made for decades. In 6 months, I transformed from an independent woman with a considerable fortune into a pensioner, dependent on her children's generosity. The doorbell rings, and for a moment my heart races. Could one of them have changed their mind? Could they have realized that excluding their mother on Christmas is unforgivable? I open the door with hope. It's the mail carrier, with a package. A gift I sent myself from Amazon a week ago, in a moment of desperation. A Christmas recipe book I'll never use. "Merry Christmas, Mrs. Miller," the young mail carrier says with that genuine smile I haven't seen in my family for months. "You too, dear," I reply. And for a moment, I feel like someone in this world sees me. I close the door and lean against it. The apartment returns to its deathly silence. Outside, I hear the neighbors preparing for their celebrations. Children running through the hallways, adults shouting instructions about food and gifts. The normal life that continues for everyone except me. I walk to the window that faces Broadway. Below, people walk quickly, loaded with bags and smiles. Young couples hugging against the cold. Entire families heading to gatherings where everyone is welcome. And here I am, Eleanor Miller, 72 years old, a widow, mother of 3, grandmother of 6, completely alone during the most family-focused time of the year. But there's something my children don't know. Something I discovered 3 days ago that has been burning inside me like a radioactive secret. I know exactly why they didn't invite me to their perfect family Christmas. And in 2 days, when the scandal explodes, they are going to discover that they deeply underestimated the woman who gave them life. The phone vibrates on the kitchen table like a venomous snake. It's a WhatsApp message in the family group, the United Millers. How ironic that name is now. The last message I received there was 2 weeks ago, when Sarah wrote about Madison's dentist appointments, as if I were their personal secretary. But this message is different. It's from Ethan, and it's addressed to everyone. "Family tomorrow at the house at 8 p.m. Candace has prepared something special. The kids are excited. It's going to be our best Christmas. As if I didn't exist. As if 45 years of Christmases organized by me had evaporated like smoke." Ryan responds immediately, "We'll be there, bro. Chloe has everything ready." The kids haven't stopped talking about tomorrow. Sarah chimes in. "Finally, a Christmas without complications. Maddie is happy she can invite her friends." Without complications. I am a complication now. I get up from the sofa, my legs trembling. Not from age, but from the fury boiling in my veins. I walk to the chest of drawers where I keep important documents. Those papers I've been reading and rereading for the past 3 days. Papers I found by chance when I was looking for George's death certificates for the insurance. I open the manila envelope with hands that no longer tremble. Inside are the photocopies I made when I went to the bank to ask about an account I thought was closed. The teller, a young guy who treated me with the patience my own children lack, showed me something that left me breathless. 3 bank transfers, each for $250 Mau. $250,000. All made from the account is shared with Georg E. Tommy Children's personal accounts. Transfers made in October, November, and December of this year. After my husband's death, with my digital signature, a digital signature never authorized, the teller explained that someone had accessed said the online banking using my credentials, someone who knew my date of birth, my social security number SSN, the answers to my security questions, someone it trusted absolutely. $750,000. Virtually all the savings George and I had accumulated over decades of honest work. The money from the sale of my husband's plumbing supply company. The dividends from his conservative bank investments. The dollars we planned to leave as an inheritance for our grandchildren, for their college education, so they could have a better future. All stolen. By my own children. I reread the date of the first transfer. October 15th. Just 2 days after the funeral of my close friend Frank, when the whole family came to the house to comfort me in my grief. I remember that afternoon perfectly. Ethan insisted on helping me with the bank papers, while Candace entertained the children in the living room. Sarah organized my documents to keep them more orderly. Ryan stayed with me in the kitchen, making me tea and talking about how important it was to modernize my finances. They hugged me. They comforted me. They told me they loved me. And while they were doing it, they were systematically robbing me. The second theft was on November 20th, the day we celebrated my birthday. A very sad celebration in this same apartment, where they arrived with a cake from the supermarket and cheap last-minute gifts. I remember Ethan asked to borrow my laptop to show me some photos, while the others cleared the table. The third theft, the most recent, was on December 10th. The same day Chloe called me to say that this year they were simplifying the Christmas celebrations. While she was rejecting me for the most important dinner of the year, her husband was transferring the last of the money from my account to his. Now I understand why they didn't invite me. It's not just gratuitous cruelty. It's guilt. It's fear. It's the discomfort of having to pretend to love the woman whose financial security for her last years you've just stolen. I sit in the kitchen chair, the one I bought at IKEA 2 years ago when I moved here. A simple, practical chair. Nothing like the elegant oak chairs we had in the family house. Those chairs are now in Ethan's dining room. I saw them the last time he invited me to lunch, 4 months ago. I take my phone and dial the number for the law firm of Mr. Charles Finch, the attorney who handled George's affairs. His secretary tells me he's on vacation until after the new year, but if it's urgent, she can refer me to his partner. It's urgent, I say. Mr. Alex Cooper receives my call with that professional voice lawyers use when they know they're about to deliver bad news. Mrs. Miller, I've reviewed the file. Indeed, there's an anomaly in the transactions. However, you must understand that as it's a joint account with authorized digital signatures. I did not authorize those digital signatures, I interrupt him. I understand, ma'am. But legally, if someone had access to your banking credentials, and if that person knew enough personal information to verify your identity with the bank, are you telling me I can't do anything? Silence. A silence worth $750,000. We could initiate a process, of course, but it would be a long, costly process, and you would have to prove that your children acted without your consent. Furthermore, you would have to be prepared for the family consequences. Family consequences. As if my family wasn't already completely destroyed. I hang up the phone and walk to the window. Outside, it's starting to snow. Small flakes that melt before they touch the ground. Like tears that don't fall. New York looks beautiful under this gray evening light of December 23rd. The Christmas lights are starting to turn on in the balconies, in the stores, on the lampposts. In the building across the street, I see a family decorating their Christmas tree. The parents lift a little girl so she can place the star on top. Everyone is laughing. Everyone is hugging. The perfect image of what I thought I would have forever. I return to the table and spread out all the documents like a detective examining evidence. It's not just the bank transfers. There are also the papers from the sale of the family house, where my children appear as advisors in the transaction, but where the commissions were much higher than normal. There are the contracts for the investments they convinced me to cancel, where they are listed as managers with fees they never clearly explained to me. For months, while I was mourning my husband's death, they were orchestrating the most systematic and cruel theft a mother can suffer. They didn't just steal money. They stole the peace of my last years. They stole the possibility of being generous with my grandchildren, of helping them with their education, of leaving them something significant when I die. But there is something else. Something I discovered 2 days ago that I still find hard to believe. I search the envelope until I find the document that chills my blood every time I read it. It is a preliminary contract, dated for January 2nd, 2026. A contract for the sale of this apartment where I live. My apartment. The last place in the world that belongs to me. The sellers are listed as Ethan Miller, Sarah Miller, and Ryan Miller, on behalf of Eleanor Miller. The buyers are a real estate company that specializes in converting residential apartments into commercial offices. They are going to sell my home right out from under me. The price is ridiculous. $180,000 for an apartment that is worth at least $300,000 on the current market. But because the operation is structured as a family sale, they evade most of the taxes. And since I am listed as being represented by my children due to my advanced age and delicate emotional state, they don't need my physical presence to sign. They are going to celebrate their perfect Christmas with the money they stole from me. They are going to toast with expensive wine bought with my dollars. They are going to exchange costly gifts paid for with my savings. And in January, once they have fully digested their Christmas dinner, they are going to sign the papers that will leave me homeless. Just then the phone rings. It's a number I don't recognize. Mrs. Eleanor Miller? Yes, that's me. I'm Private Investigator Michael Reynolds. You called a week ago to inquire about a family investigation. It's true. I had forgotten. In a moment of desperation, after finding the first suspicious documents, I looked up a private detective online. I thought maybe I was exaggerating, that maybe I was seeing conspiracies where there were none. I've completed the preliminary investigation, ma'am. Could we meet tomorrow morning? I have information I believe you need to see immediately. Tomorrow, Christmas Day, the day I should be with my family, laughing around a table full of food and love. What kind of information? I prefer not to talk on the phone, ma'am, but I can tell you that your suspicions were justified. Very justified. I hang up with my heart pounding like a war drum. I walk to the mirror in the hallway and stare at myself. I see a 72-year-old woman with completely white hair that I refuse to dye, with wrinkles that tell the story of a life of work and love. I see a woman who for 72 years has been good, generous, understanding, who has put others before herself. I see a woman who has been an idiot, but I also see something else. I see a woman who has all the information she needs. A woman who has proof A woman who, even if she is alone on Christmas, is not defenseless. Tomorrow, while my children celebrate their perfect family Christmas with my stolen money, I will find out exactly how far their betrayal goes. The night of December 23rd to the 24th is the longest of my life. I don't sleep for a minute. I stay sitting in bed, wrapped in the shawl my mother knitted 30 years ago, watching the Christmas lights twinkling in the building across the street. Every light reminds me of a past Christmas, when this day meant hope instead of abandonment. At 5 in the morning, I get up and prepare coffee. Black coffee without sugar, bitter like my current reality. While I wait for the water to boil, I hear the sounds of the building waking up. Mrs. Perez from 3B preparing breakfast for her visiting grandchildren. The young couple from 2A arguing about which gifts to take to his parents' house. Normal life. Normal families. Normal Christmases. My phone remains completely silent. Not a single Merry Christmas, Mom. Not even a Christmas tree emoji from one of my 6 grandchildren. Nothing. The most complete emptiness. At 9 in the morning, the doorbell rings. I expect it to be Mike, but when I open the door, I find something unexpected. Henry, my 5-year-old grandson, Ryan's youngest son. He's soaked from the rain, in his red winter coat and his dinosaur backpack. Grandma Ellie! He throws himself into my arms with that pure innocence only children have. Behind him, climbing the stairs with difficulty, is my neighbor from the first floor, Mrs. Jenkins. Oh, Ellie, forgive me for bothering you on Christmas. But this little one showed up at the building door half an hour ago. He was crying and asking for his grandma. I didn't know what to do. I hug Henry, who is trembling with cold and excitement. Grandma, I ran away from home. Daddy and Mommy were shouting your name and saying bad words. Ava told me we weren't going to see you ever again, but I want to see you. You tell me the best stories in the world. My heart breaks into 1,000 pieces. This child walked in the rain, alone, from his home in Riverdale to the Upper West Side. He came to see me on Christmas. How did you get here, my love? I remembered the address you taught me. I took the bus like when we came together. I told the driver I was going to see my grandma because it was Christmas. I thank Mrs. Jenkins and close the door. Henry takes off his wet coat and sits on my sofa as if it were his natural place in the world. Grandma, why does Daddy say you're sick in the head? You're not sick. You know lots of things. I sit beside him and stroke his damp hair. Sometimes, my love, when adults do bad things, they say other people are sick so they don't feel guilty. Like when Ava breaks something and says it was the cat? Exactly like that. We prepare hot chocolate together. Henry tells me about the Christmas gifts he received, but he also tells me other things. Things that deeply wound me. Grandma, Daddy bought a very big new car. Mommy says we are rich now. But before, when you came over, there was always good food and games. Now Mommy is always tired, and Daddy is always talking on the phone about numbers and money. Do you like it better now that you're rich? Henry shakes his head very seriously. No. Daddy used to read me stories. Now he just talks about Bitcoin and boring things. And Mommy says we can't invite you anymore because you're too old and too much work. While we talk, my phone rings constantly. It's Ryan, desperate because Henry has disappeared. I don't answer. Let him suffer a little. Let him feel what it's like to lose something important. At 2 in the afternoon, when Henry has fallen asleep on my sofa after eating an omelet and watching Christmas cartoons, there's a loud pounding on the door. Not the bell. Desperate blows. Mom, open the door! I know you have Henry! It's Ryan. His voice sounds broken, terrified. Behind him, I hear Chloe shouting too. Ellie, if anything happens to my son because of you, I'm going to make you pay. I open the door. Ryan's eyes are red, his hair disheveled. He looks like he's aged 10 years in the last 12 hours. Chloe is hysterical, her makeup running, her Christmas dress wrinkled. Where is my son? Ryan tries to push past me to enter. He's sleeping, peacefully. Something he probably doesn't do much at your house lately. You have no right to keep him here. This is kidnapping. Kidnapping? Your son came of his own free will because he wanted to spend Christmas with his grandmother. Something you denied him. Chloe points her finger at me like a gun. You manipulated him. You brainwashed him. You are a toxic old woman who can't accept that we don't need you anymore. Just then, Henry appears in the hallway, rubbing his eyes. Daddy? Why are you yelling at Grandma? Ryan kneels and hugs his son with a desperation that breaks my heart. Henry, you scared us terribly. You can't leave like that without telling anyone. But I wanted to see Grandma on Christmas, like always. This year is different, son. Why? Silence. Ryan doesn't know how to answer. How do you explain to a 5-year-old that you stole from his grandmother to buy a Mercedes-Benz S-Class? Chloe loses patience. Because your grandmother is sick, Henry. She's telling lies about Daddy and Mommy. We can't trust her anymore. That's not true. Henry's cry echoes through the hallway. It's the first time I've ever heard this child raise his voice. Grandma isn't sick. Grandma loves me. You're the ones who are weird. He clings to my legs tightly. I don't want to go, Grandma. I feel safe here. And there it is. From the mouth of a 5-year-old comes the purest truth. He feels safe with me, not with his parents. Ryan looks at me with an expression I haven't seen since he was a teenager. Real pain. Real fear. Mom, please, give us back Henry and we can talk about all of this. We can fix it. Fix what, Ryan? The theft? The fraud? The falsified documents? Keep your voice down, please. The neighbors. Are you embarrassed for the neighbors to know what kind of son you are? Chloe steps forward, threateningly. Ellie, either you give us the child right now, or we call the police and tell them a crazy old woman has kidnapped our son. I smile for the first time in days. A smile that must send shivers down their spines. Call the police, please. Do it. When they come, I'll have a few things to tell them too. I take out my phone and dial 911. Hello? NYPD? Yes, I would like to report a theft of 750-00. RYANSFACECOMPLETELYCOLLAPSES CHLOERECOILSASIFIHADSLAPPEDHER MOMDON8T ALSOFFALSIFICALDOCUMENTSANDRESTATEFRAUD HANGUPTHEPHONE THEMINTIWIMINUTESYHENWIOUTENTIHEVERESHCOFFEE LETSGONOW BUTRYANDOESNTMOVE IESTRESATME AREMOMENTIISECHEBOYHEWANGMANWANDESCANDIMANDWHOCEALELEDMEFOREBD Noma AREYOUREALLYGOINGTODOTHIS AREYOUGOINGTODESTROYYOUROWNFAMILY RYANISAYINTHESTVOICEICANMANA GEE YOULAREADYDESTROYEDTHEFAMILY IEMJUSTDEFENDINGMYSELFE THEYRUNDOWNTHESTAIRS IERTHEMARGIEVOICESTHEICHIWINDICANDIMUTUALRECIPIANITIONS HENRYLOOKSATMEWITHTHOSELARGE INNOCENTEYES GRANDMAREDYNDYANDMOMMYGOINGTOJAIL ISTROKHISCHEEK. IDONTKNOWMYLOVE TIDOKNOWYSTHATYWYOUWILLALAWYSHAVIASAFEPLACEWITHME EANISTAYYOVERLIKETHEOLDDAYS OFCOURSEYOUCAN BUTFIRSTIHAVETOCALLYOURD ADDYSOHEKNOWSYOUEREOKAY NDTHENWILLOUTELLYOUTESTORFTHEGOODDRAGON ILLTELLYOUALLTHESTORIESWOUWANT ASIPREPAREDINNERFORMYGRANDSON ITHINKABOUTTHEDECISIONSIVEMADETODAY FORTHEFIRSTTIMEINMONTHS IDON TFEELGUILTYFORTHEFIRSTTIMEINMONTHS IFEELLIKEIDMDOINGTHERIGHTTTHING THEYWEREPROFOUNDLYMISTAKEN THENIGHTOFDECEMBER 24 THOTHISCHRISTMASNIGHT HENRYSLEEPSINMYBED CURLEDWHILEIPSINWYBED NOTFROMINSOMNIA Day BUTBE CAUSEFORT HEFIRSTTIMEINMONTHS IHAVEENERGYFLOWINGTHROUGHINSTEADOFRESIGNAT IONITESASTRANGEAND POWERFULFEELINGTHEFEEGIFEFIELINGGOFHAVENGOFENLIFE ATSIXINTHEMORNINGONDECEMBER 26th MYPHONERINGS ITASMIKE THEDETECTIVE MRS MILLER IHAVENEWS IURCHILDRENEBEVERYWINE WHATHEYDONENOW THEBANKSECOUNTTRANSFERTHEASSETSFROMTHELIMITEDLIAB ILITYCOMPANY, LLC, TOOFFSHOREACCOUNTS, IHAVECONTACTSATSEVERALBANKSANDALERTEDTHEM, NOIN, TERNATIONAL, TRANSFERHASBEENAUTHORIZED, IFEELDEEPSATISFACTION, THEYAREDESPERATE, THEYAREMAKINGMISTAKES, BUTTHEREISSOMETHINGIMPORTANTMAATAM, IVEBEENINVES, TIGATINGEATYNGIATYSGOINGTHATIONGPLETIGANGEYOURLIFE, MIKEPAUSESDRAMATICALLY, YOURLATEHUSBANDHADANCOUNT, ANACCOUNTYOURC, HILDRENEVERTNEVERTSTOPS, GEORGIOPENEDASAVINGCASEBANK, EXCLUSIVELYINYOURNAME, EVERYMONTHEDPOSITEDSMALLAMOUNTS, ALWAYSINCASHYWTLEVINGANELECTRONICTRAIL, ITWASHISASECRETEMERGENCYFUND, ACCORDINGTOTHEDEOCUMENTSIFOUND, 750,000. Ryan Ahm's face completely collapses. Chloe recoils as if I had slapped hair. Mom Dante. Also, I have proof of falsification of medical doc Sandriala stayed fraud. I hang up the phone. They'll be hairy in 20 minutes. You can wait for them with me if you want. I have fresh coffee. Chloe pulls at Ryan's arm. Let us go now. But Ryan doesn't to move. Hester is at me, and for a moment I see the boy he was, the young man who called me Mommy, and asked me to tell him stories before bed. Are you really going to do this? Are you going to destroy your own family? Ryan. Is saying the softest voice I can manage. You already destroyed the family. I am just defending myself. They run down the stairs. I hear the margingas they descend, their voices echoing with panic and mutual recriminations. Henry looks at me with those large, innocent eyes. Grandma, are Daddy and Mommy going to jail? Istro kehishik. I don't to know, my love. But what I don't know is that you will always have Asafa place with me. Can I stay over? Like the old days? Of course, you can. But first, I have to call your daddy so he knows you're okay. And then will you tell me the story of the good dragon? I'll tell you all the stories you want. As I prepared dinner for my grandson, I think about the decisions we made today. For the first time in months, I didn't feel guilty. For the first time in months, I feel like I am doing the right thing. My children thought I was a helpless old woman and they could rob, manipulate, and discard. They are going to find out they were profoundly mistaken. The night of December 24th to the 25th this Christmas night. Henry sleeps in my bed, curled up like a kitten, while I stay awakey on the sofa all night. Not from insomnia, but because for the first time in months I have energy flowing through my veins instead of resignation. It's a strange and powerful feeling. The feeling of having regained control of my own life. At 6 in the morning on December 26th, my phone rings. It's Mike, the detective. Mrs. Miller, I have news. Your children have been very busy over the last 24 hours. What have they done now? They try to close all the bank accounts and transfer the assets from the Limited Liability Company, LLC, to offshore accounts. I have contacts at several banks and alerted them. No international transfer has been authorized. I feel deep satisfaction. They are desperate. They are making mistakes. But there is something more important, I've been investigating at your request, and we found something that is going to complete change your life. Mike pauses dramatically. Your late husband had another bank account. An account your children never knew existed. My heart stops. George opened a savings account at Chase Bank in 2021 exclusively in your name. Every month he deposited small amounts, always in cash, always without leaving an electronic trail. It washes secret emergency fund, according to the documents I found in his old office. How much money? 480,000, ma'am. With accrued interest. I sit on the sofa with trembling legs. George, my dear George, continued to protect me even after his death. How? Your husband distrusted your children for years, ma'am. I have a letter here that he wrote and left sealed in a safety deposit box. The letter is addressed to you. An hour later, Mike is in my kitchen while Henry eats cereal and watches cartoons on my old television. Mike hands me a yellowish envelope with George's handwriting on the outside. For my Ellie, if our children ever become strangers. With trembling hands, I open the letter. My dearest Ellie, if you are reading this, it means I have died, and that our children have shown their true nature. Forgive me for not telling you about this account while I was alive, but I wanted it to be a surprise for your later years, so you could travel and enjoy yourself without worries. For the past 5 years, I have observed how Ethan, Sarah, and Ryan see us more as an inheritance than as parents. I have overheard their conversations when they think we can't hear them. I have seen them calculate our wealth with their eyes. That is why I created this secret account. For you. So you never have to depend on them or their generosity. The money is at Chase Bank, branch on Park Avenue. The access code is the date of our first kiss, 05151975. The contact is Ms. Evelyn Reed, Premium Accounts Manager. Use this money to be free, Ellie. Use this money to be happy. Use this money to show our children that they deeply underestimated the strongest woman I have ever known in my life. I love you forever, George P.S. If people other than Ellie are reading this letter, know that all transactions from this account are monitored by the law firm of Cooper and Associates. Any attempt at fraudulent access will result in immediate legal action. I cry. For the first time in days, I cry. But these are not tears of pain, but of relief, of gratitude, of love for a man who continued to care for me from the grave. Henry approaches and hugs me. Why are you crying, Grandma? Are you sad? No, my love. I'm happy. Very, very happy. Mike smiles. Ma'am, with this money and the evidence we have, you can not only defend yourself, you can counterattack. At 10 in the morning, I am at Chase Bank, dressed in my best black suit, the same one I wore to George's funeral. Ms. Evelyn Reed, an elegant woman in her 40s, greets me with the respect I haven't felt in months. Mrs. Miller, your husband spoke highly of you over the years. He always said you were the smartest woman he had ever met, but too good for your own good. I review the account statements. George religiously deposited between $500 and $3,000 every month for 5 years. Money from extra jobs, from repairs for friends, from small investments I didn't know about. All for me. Ms. Reed, I need to make some important transfers. Of course. To which accounts? I smile with a calmness I hadn't felt in years. First, I want to transfer $50,000 to the account of my grandson, Henry Miller, for his college education. Any restrictions? Yes. He can only access the money when he turns 18, and only if he maintains a respectful relationship with me. Understood. Second, I want to transfer $100,000 to the National Center on Elder Abuse and Neglect. Evelyn Reed raises her eyebrows with surprise and admiration. That's a very generous donation, ma'am. It's an investment in justice. Anything else? Yes. I want to hire the services of the best criminal defense attorney in New York. Price is not an issue. At 2 in the afternoon, I am in the office of Mr. Robert Stone, the most feared lawyer in the state for financial crimes. A man of 60, impeccably dressed, with a reputation for never having lost a family fraud case. Mrs. Miller, I have reviewed the documentation your detective sent me. It is one of the clearest cases of systematic elder financial abuse I have ever seen. What can we do? We can destroy them, ma'am. Legally, of course. Mr. Stone spreads the documents on his mahogany desk. Aggravated theft, document forgery, fraud, identity theft, abuse of a vulnerable person. We are talking about 5 to 8 years in prison for each of them, plus full restitution of the money with interest and damages. And what do you need from me? Just that you sign here. I'll take care of the rest. I take the gold pen he offers me. It is heavy, solid, like the decision I am making. Are you sure, ma'am? There's no turning back after this. I think of Christmas Eve, eating alone. I think of the cruel messages. I think of Chloe calling me an old, bitter woman. I think of my stolen $750,000. I think of the falsified medical certificate. I think of the plan to sell my house. I sign with a clear, decided calligraphy. Mr. Stone, I want this to go public. I want everyone to know exactly what kind of people my children are. Are you certain? The publicity can be very hard on you as well. I've been silent for too long. I've been understanding for too long. It's time for the world to see the truth. At 5 in the afternoon, while Henry has cookies in my kitchen, my phone explodes with calls. Mr. Stone has been fast. The legal documents have already been filed. My children's accounts have been frozen. Their passports have been retained. And in 2 hours, the case will be news in every paper in New York. Ethan calls me hysterically. Mom, what have you done? The police are at my office. They're going to arrest me. Ethan, I told you that you had until 6 in the afternoon to return the money. This is insane. You're our mother. Exactly. I am your mother. The woman who gave you life, who raised you, who loved you unconditionally. And you robbed me, lied to me, betrayed me, and excluded me at Christmas. We can fix this. We can return the money. It's too late for that, son. Sarah calls me crying. Mom, please, Madison is watching the news online. She's asking if her mother is going to jail. How do I explain this? You explain to her that her mother decided to rob her grandmother instead of working honestly. We're not criminals. We're your family. Criminals can be family, Sarah. In fact, it hurts more when they are. Ryan is the last one to call. His voice sounds broken, defeated. Mommy, please, Chloe is pregnant. If I go to jail, are you using an unborn baby to emotionally blackmail me, Ryan? No, Mom, I'm just asking for compassion. The same compassion you had for me when you were planning to sell my house. Right? Silence. Ryan, you planned this for 5 years. 5 years waiting for your father to die so you could rob me. Don't talk to me about compassion. I hang up the phone and hug Henry, who looks at me with those huge, innocent eyes. Grandma, did my parents do something very bad? Yes, my love. Something very bad. But you still love them? The question breaks my heart because the answer is yes. I still love them. But for the first time in my life, I love myself more. I will always love them, Henry. But I won't let them hurt me anymore. Like when I love Ava even though she sometimes hits me? Exactly like that. Through the window, I see a CNN news van arrive. The scandal is already public. Eleanor Miller, the elderly woman robbed by her own children at Christmas, has become national news. And for the first time in months, that makes me smile. The morning of December 27th, I wake up as the most famous woman in New York. My phone has 247 notifications. My story is on the front page of the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and even the most read digital news outlets. The headline that shocks me the most is from Fox News. The grandmother who taught her children that money isn't inherited, it's earned. Henry is eating cereal while watching the news on television, where a blonde anchor explains our case with exaggerated drama. Mrs. Eleanor Miller, 72, has demonstrated that age is not synonymous with vulnerability when she reported her 3 children for the systematic theft of $750,000 from her bank accounts. "Grandma, you're on TV! You're famous!" Henry claps excitedly, not fully understanding the gravity of the situation. For him, seeing his grandmother on television is like she's a movie star. My phone rings. It's Mr. Robert Stone. "Mrs. Miller, I hope you're prepared for what's coming. In the last 12 hours, we have received calls from 47 journalists, 23 television programs, and 8 documentary production companies. Your story has struck a very sensitive chord in American society. Is that good or bad?" "It's extraordinary, ma'am. Your case is generating a national debate about elder abuse. We have received over 300 emails from seniors going through similar situations. Through the window, I see at least 5 news vans parked on my street. Reporters with microphones wait at the building entrance like vultures waiting for carrion. Mr. Stone, what's happening with my children? Ethan was arrested this morning at his office. Sarah is being interrogated right now. Ryan turned himself in voluntarily with his attorney an hour ago. I feel a pang in my heart. No matter how cruel they have been to me, they are still my children. But I immediately remember Chloe's words calling me an old bitter woman, and the pang turns into steely determination. And the bank accounts? All frozen. We have recovered $623,000 so far. The rest is in Ethan's Mercedes-Benz and the apartment Sarah bought, but we already have seizure warrants. They will return every last cent. At 11 in the morning, I receive an unexpected visit. It's Candace, Ethan's wife, her eyes swollen from crying and an envelope in her hands. "Ellie, please, I need to talk to you." I let her pass, even though every fiber of my being screams at me not to. Henry hides behind me. Even he feels the tension. "Ellie, this has to stop. Ethan is in jail. The twins are asking why their father isn't coming home. Liam has had panic attacks." "Oh, Candace, their father is in jail because he stole $250,000 from his mother. That's not theft. It was family money. You were going to leave it to them anyway." I stare at her. After everything that has happened, she still doesn't understand the gravity of what they did. "Candace, would you steal from your mother? That's different." "Why is it different?" Because, she can't answer because there is no answer. She hands me the envelope with trembling hands. "The children wrote you a letter." I open the envelope. Inside are 2 letters written in the shaky handwriting of my 15-year-old grandsons. "Grandma Ellie, please forgive Dad. I know he did something wrong, but he is good deep down. I promise I will tell him to apologize to you every day. Please don't let him stay in jail. I love you, Liam. Grandma, Mommy says you're mad at Dad over money. I don't understand why money is more important than family. Can't we just forget about the money and be happy again? Noah." The letters shatter my heart. These children don't understand that their father didn't just steal money. He betrayed the most sacred trust that exists, that of a child towards their mother. "Candace, what did you tell the boys?" "The truth, that you're angry about a financial misunderstanding." "A financial misunderstanding?" My voice sounds dangerously calm. "Candace, your husband fraudulently accessed my bank accounts, falsified medical documents to declare me incompetent, created an LLC to launder the stolen money, and planned to sell my home without my knowledge. Is that a financial misunderstanding? Ellie, he did it for us, for the family. He wanted to secure our future. By stealing my future?" Candace bursts into tears with that performative hysteria some women use when they run out of arguments. "You're an old woman. You don't need that much money. We have children to raise, mortgages to pay, expenses you don't understand." I rise from the sofa with a dignity I didn't know I possessed. "Candace, get out of my house. Ellie, please. Out." The scream leaves my lungs with a force that makes Henry jump. Candace recoils as if I had slapped her. "Never come back. And tell the twins their grandmother loves them, but their father has to face the consequences of his actions." After she leaves, I hug Henry, who is trembling. "Grandma, why did you yell?" "Because sometimes, my love, when people don't want to hear the truth, you have to say it louder." At 2 in the afternoon, the doorbell rings. It's Sarah, but she's not alone. She's with Madison, my 17-year-old granddaughter. "Grandma Ellie," Madison says before Sarah can speak. "I need to understand what's going on." Sarah seems surprised that her daughter is taking the initiative. Madison, I already explained that Grandma is… Mom, shut up! The firmness in my granddaughter's voice surprises me. It's the first time I've heard her address her mother with such authority. Grandma, I've been reading the news. I saw the documents the papers published. Is it true that Mom stole $250,000 from you? I look at Sarah, who is pale as a ghost. Yes, my love. It's true. And is it also true that they wanted to sell your home without your knowledge? That's also true. Madison turns to her mother with an expression I had never seen on a teenager. Deep, mature disappointment. Mom, how could you do that? Madison, you don't understand the complexities. I understand perfectly. Madison's cry echoes throughout the apartment. I understand that you stole from your own mother. I understand that you lied to me when you said we would be better off financially thanks to some investments. The money for my new iPhone, for the designer clothes, for the senior class trip. It was all stolen money. Sarah tries to approach her daughter, but Madison steps back. Don't touch me. You disgust me. Madison, I did it for you, for us, so we could have a better future. By robbing Grandma? That was your big strategy for my future? Madison turns to me with tears in her eyes. Grandma, I didn't know any of it, I swear. If I had known where the money came from, I never would have accepted anything. I hug her tightly. In her arms, I feel the redemption I didn't expect to find. I know, my love. I know. I want to give it all back to you. The phone, the clothes, everything Mom bought with your money. It's not necessary, honey. None of this is your fault. Sarah looks at us with an expression of complete panic. Ellie, Sarah looks at me in desperation. Talk to her. Tell her to forgive me. Sarah, I'm not going to ask my granddaughter to forgive the unforgivable. I'm her mother, and I am your mother. And you robbed me. Sarah leaves crying, but Madison stays. Grandma, I want to stay with you tonight. I can't be in the same house as her right now. Of course, my love. That night, while Madison and Henry sleep in my bed and I stay on the sofa, I reflect on the day. I have lost my 3 children, possibly forever, but I have gained something more valuable, my dignity, my self-respect, and the genuine admiration of 2 of my grandchildren. On my nightstand is George's letter, and for the first time since his death, I feel he is proud of me. My phone vibrates with a message from Mr. Robert Stone. Mrs. Miller, the trial starts tomorrow. The prosecutor is requesting the maximum sentence. Are you ready? I write back. More than ready. I'm set. Through the window, I see that reporters are still waiting. My story has become a symbol of something bigger. The dignity of the elderly, the right not to be abused by one's own family, the importance of defending oneself regardless of age. Tomorrow will begin the trial that will define not only the fate of my children, but the message we send to all families in the United States about what is acceptable and what is not. And for the first time in months, I am not afraid of tomorrow. The day of the trial dawns clear and cold in New York. It is 6 in the morning on January 15th, and I have been awake since 4, not from nerves, but from a strange energy I have been feeling for weeks. It is the energy of someone who is finally living their truth instead of the lie others constructed for her. I look at myself in the bathroom mirror and see a completely different woman from the one reflected a month ago. My eyes are bright. My posture is straight. My movements are deliberate. I wear my white hair loose over my shoulders, not trying to hide my age. I put on the navy blue suit I bought yesterday at Bloomingdale's, the first one I've bought for myself in 5 years. The first one that is not black, gray, or beige. Madison is in the kitchen making coffee. In these 3 weeks living with me, she has become my perfect companion. She studies for her AP exams in the mornings, helps me with press interviews in the afternoons, and at night we talk about everything. Life, love, disappointment, betrayal, strength. Grandma, are you nervous? No, my love. I'm liberated. It's the exact word. Liberated. For decades, I lived for others, thinking that was my function in the world. Now I live for myself, and it turns out that living for yourself is not selfishness, it's survival. Henry appears in pajamas, rubbing his eyes. He has been living with me since Christmas. Ryan has tried to get him back several times, but every time the child has to choose, He chooses to stay with me. The court psychologists say it's because he feels safe and valued here. Words that fill me with pride. Grandma, is today the day you decide if Daddy goes to jail? Today is the day a judge decides if what Daddy did deserves punishment. And what do you want to happen? The question from a 5-year-old is the most difficult one I've been asked in months. I want him to do the right thing. For the first time in a long time. At 9, we are at the Manhattan Federal Courthouse. The concentration of journalists is impressive. Cameras, microphones, flashes that blind me. Mr. Stone walks beside me, protecting me from the media chaos. Mrs. Miller, remember that today you're not just speaking for yourself. You're speaking for all the elderly people in the United States who are being abused by their families. In the courtroom, I see my 3 children for the first time since Christmas Day. They are sitting on the defendant's bench, dressed in black, their heads bowed. Ethan has lost weight. He has deep, dark circles. Sarah looks like she has aged 10 years in 3 weeks. Ryan stares at me, looking in my eyes for some vestige of the unconditional love he once took for granted. He doesn't find it. Their lawyers are expensive, sleek, the type who specialize in getting the rich out of the consequences of their actions. But today, they face something they don't know how to handle. A mother who is no longer willing to protect her children from themselves. The prosecutor, a young man of about 35, presents the case with surgical precision. Your Honors, we are faced with one of the most systematic and cruel cases of elder financial abuse to have reached these courts. The defendants did not act on impulse. They did not act out of necessity. They planned for years to steal the life savings of their own mother. He presents the evidence one by one. The emails where they planned the strategy, the fraudulent bank transfers, the falsified medical certificate, the plan to sell my apartment. Each piece of evidence is like a hammer blow hitting the table of justice. When it is my turn to testify, I walk toward the stand with a steady pace. The room is in complete silence. Even the journalists have stopped writing. Mrs. Miller, the prosecutor says, tell us what you felt when you discovered that your own children had robbed you. It wasn't just the money, I reply in a clear voice. It was the betrayal. It was discovering that the people I loved most in the world saw me as an obstacle to their prosperity instead of the mother who gave them life. How did it affect you emotionally? It made me question everything. It made me think that maybe I didn't deserve respect, that maybe I was a burden. It made me feel invisible, useless, disposable. I see that Ryan has tears in his eyes. Ethan keeps his gaze fixed on the table. Sarah looks at me with something close to regret. And how do you feel now? I smile for the first time all morning. Now I feel free. Free from the need to buy love with money. Free from the obligation to be understanding of incomprehensible behaviors. Free to live for myself instead of living for others. Ethan's lawyer tries to discredit me during the cross-examination. Mrs. Miller, isn't it true that you always wanted your children to inherit your estate? Yes. When I died. Not while I was alive and needing financial security for my last years. Don't you think there's a difference between inheritance and theft? Of course. Inheritance is given after death, with love and blessing. Theft is taken during life, with deception and betrayal. Don't you consider your reaction to have been excessive? I rise slightly in the chair, with a dignity that comes from within. Counselor, would you allow your children to steal $750,000 from you, falsify medical documents to declare you incompetent, and plan to sell your home without your knowledge? I would not. Then don't tell me my reaction is excessive. During the recess, Ryan approaches me in the hallway. His lawyers try to stop him, but he ignores them. Mom, please, forgive me. Ryan, you didn't just steal money from me. You stole the peace of my last years. You stole my faith in my own family. It was a mistake. A terrible mistake. No, son. A mistake is forgetting to call on your birthday. A mistake is arriving late to dinner. What you did was a calculated betrayal over years. Will you never forgive me? The question hurts me, but the answer comes out clearly. Forgiveness is earned, Ryan. It is not demanded. My children's statements are pathetic. Ethan blames bad financial advice. Sarah talks about communication misunderstandings. Ryan tries emotional blackmail by mentioning that Chloe is pregnant and that the child needs his father. None truly apologize. None fully accept responsibility. None show genuine remorse. The verdict arrives at 6 in the evening. Ethan, 6 years in federal prison and a $300,000 fine. Sarah, 5 years in federal prison and a $250,000 fine. Ryan, 4 years in federal prison and a $200,000 fine. They must also return the totality of the stolen money with 6% annual interest. When the judge reads the sentence, I feel something strange. It is not satisfaction or revenge. It is justice. Pure and simple justice. My children cry. Their wives scream. The lawyers announce they will appeal. I stand up in silence and walk toward the exit. At the courthouse door, journalists surround me. Mrs. Miller, how do you feel? I feel at peace. Do you regret reporting your own children? I regret not having done it sooner. What message do you have for other elderly people in similar situations? I stop, look directly at the cameras, and speak in a voice that reaches every corner of the United States. Don't let anyone, not even family, treat you like a second-class citizen. Your dignity is priceless. Your respect is non-negotiable. And it is never, ever too late to stand up for yourself. That night, in my apartment, I celebrate with Madison and Henry. We don't celebrate their parents' conviction, but something more important. We celebrate that the truth finally came to light. Grandma, Madison tells me as we eat a Spanish omelet. Tortilla, I want to study law. I want to help people like you. People like me? Brave people who dare to fight for what is right, no matter the cost. Henry, who is coloring in his notebook, looks up. Grandma, are we going to be happy forever now? Now, my love, we are going to be free forever. And freedom is the closest thing to happiness there is. The cold January breeze enters through the window, but I feel warm. The warmth of someone who is finally living her own life, instead of the life others designed for her. Eleanor Miller, at 72, has just discovered who she really is when she doesn't have to be the perfect mother, the devoted wife, the complacent grandmother. She has just discovered that she is, simply, Ellie. And Ellie is extraordinary. 6 months after the trial, I am sitting on the terrace of my new apartment in Greenwich Village, watching the sunset over the rooftops of New York. It is an apartment I chose. I bought. I decorated. For the first time in 72 years, I live in a space that reflects exactly who I am, not who others expect me to be. The walls are painted light yellow, a color I always liked, but George considered too cheerful for a serious house. I have plants in every corner, books stacked on side tables, photographs of my grandchildren who truly love me. There are no pictures of my children, not because I hate them, but because I no longer need reminders of relationships that were more obligation than love. Madison is in her room studying for her AP exams. She officially moved in with me after the trial, when Sarah lost custody due to emotional negligence. My granddaughter wants to study criminal law at NYU, specializing in defending vulnerable people. She says she wants to be like her grandmother when she grows up, a woman who doesn't let anyone walk all over her. Henry comes to spend the weekends. Ryan lost shared custody, but the child can visit him in prison once a month. Last time, he told me that his father cries a lot and asks him to tell me to forgive him. Henry, with that brutal wisdom children have, told me, Grandma, why do adults always ask for forgiveness after it's already too late? My phone rings. It's Evelyn Reed from the Premium Accounts Office at Chase Bank. Mrs. Miller, I have good news. Your investments in fixed income funds have generated an 8.2% return this quarter, with the original 480,000 PLUS THECOURT ORDEREDRESTITUTIONS YOURCURENTLIQUIDNETWORTHIS Backer forward 80,000 plus the court-ordered restitutions. Your current liquid net worth is $1.3 million. $1.3 million. More money than George and I managed to save in 45 years of marriage. Money that my children would have inherited if they had simply known how to wait, if they had known how to love without financial conditions. Thank you, Evelyn. Are the dividends for this month available yet? Yes, ma'am. $7,200 in your checking account. After hanging up, I open my laptop. Another gift I gave myself. A MacBook Air that I use to manage my new life. I have a dizzying schedule. 3 television interviews next week, a conference in Boston on elder financial abuse, a book signing at a major New York bookstore. Yes, I have a book. It's called It's Never Too Late to Say No, and it tells my story from the Christmas exclusion to the recovery of my dignity. The publisher says they are doing a second print run because pre-sales exceeded 50,000 copies. The royalties will go directly to a foundation that helps elderly victims of family abuse. I check my email. I have 127 new messages. Most are from women my age who tell me similar stories. Some ask for advice. Others simply want someone to listen to them. I answer every message personally. It is my new mission in life, to ensure that no older person feels as alone and helpless as I felt. One of the emails particularly catches my attention. It is from Carol Jenkins, a 68-year-old woman from Florida. Dear Ellie, after seeing your story on television, I gathered the courage to report my son for stealing my late husband's inheritance. I thought I was too old to fight, but you showed me that it's never too late to stand up for yourself. Yesterday we won the case. I wanted to thank you for teaching me that self-love has no expiration date. With admiration, Carol. I read the message 3 times. Every time a woman finds her voice thanks to my story, I feel that everything I went through was worth it. Madison comes out of her room with books under her arm. Grandma, I'm going to the library to study with my friends. Do you need anything? Only for you to be happy, my love. She comes over and kisses me on the forehead. Grandma, do you know the difference between you and Mom? What is it? You teach me to be strong. She taught me to be a victim. After she leaves, I walk to my study. It's a small room overlooking an inner courtyard where I have my desk, my reading chair, and a wall full of thank you letters from women who found strength in my story. On my desk is the last letter I received from Ethan. It arrived a week ago from FCI Danbury. Mom, I know you don't have to read this, but I need to write it. In these months in prison, I've had a lot of time to think about what I did. Not just the theft of the money, but years of treating you like a nuisance instead of valuing you as the extraordinary mother you always were. I don't ask for forgiveness because I know I don't deserve it. I only ask that you know that I now understand why you did it. You needed to defend yourself from us. You needed to teach us that actions have consequences. Candace left me. She took the twins, and I don't know when I'll see them again. I lost my job, my house, my reputation. I lost everything. But what hurts the most is knowing that I lost the best mother in the world because of my own greed. I hope you are happy. I hope these years you have left are the best of your life. You deserve it. With genuine remorse, Ethan. I put the letter in the drawer next to the others I have received from my 3 children. All similar. Remorse, please, promises of change. I haven't answered any of them. Not out of cruelty, but because some wounds are so deep that forgiveness needs time to mature like good wine. Maybe someday. Maybe never. And either option is fine. The phone rings again. It's Mike, my private investigator, who has become a personal friend. Ellie, I have news about Sarah. What has she done now? Nothing bad. She started psychological counseling in prison. Her therapist says she's genuinely working on understanding why she betrayed your trust. She's also studying elder accounting. She says she wants to help prevent cases like yours when she gets out. It's the first positive news I've had about my children in months. And Ryan? Ryan is complicated. He still blames you for breaking up the family, but Chloe gave birth 2 weeks ago. A girl. A granddaughter I may never know. The thought hurts me, but it doesn't break me as it would have a year ago. What is her name? Eleanor. They named her Eleanor. I stay silent for long minutes. My name on a baby who will possibly grow up without knowing me. The daughter of a father who is in prison for robbing me. The irony is brutal and beautiful at the same time. Mike, can you do me a favor? Anything you need. Open a savings account for the baby. Deposit $50,000 for when she turns 18. Ellie, if my son couldn't wait for his inheritance, at least his daughter will have hers secured. After hanging up, I go out to the terrace with a glass of red wine. It is a good California Cabernet from 2015, one of the expensive ones. The kind I would have previously considered an unnecessary luxury. Now I understand that giving yourself small luxuries is not vanity. It is self-respect. The sun sets behind the buildings of New York, painting the sky with oranges and pinks. On the street, I see families returning home after work. Fathers carrying children's backpacks, mothers holding grocery bags, grandparents walking hand in hand with grandchildren. Normal lives, normal families. The kind of life I thought I had, and which turned out to be an illusion built on sand. But now I have something better. I have an authentic life. A life where I don't pretend to be someone I'm not to please those who don't value me. A life where my happiness doesn't depend on the approval of others. My phone vibrates with a message from Henry. Grandma, Daddy wants me to tell you he's very sorry and that he loves you. I love you too, but differently. I love you because you're you, not because you're my grandma. Do you understand the difference? I smile as I write back. I understand perfectly, my love. And that is the difference between real love and love with conditions. As I finish my glass of wine, I think about all the women who write to me, all the stories they tell me, all the cases similar to mine that are reported every day in the United States. My story became something bigger than me. It became a symbol that it's never too late to defend yourself, that age is not synonymous with vulnerability, that respect is not negotiated even in family. This Christmas will be different. Madison and I will cook together. Henry will come to spend the day with us. We will prepare turkey, not to please anyone, but because we like it. We will exchange gifts, not out of obligation, but out of genuine love. It will be a small Christmas, but it will be a real Christmas. I get up from the chair and look at my reflection in the window. I see a 72-year-old woman with completely white hair, with wrinkles that tell stories of pain, but also of triumph. I see a woman who learned that love for her children does not mean allowing them to destroy you. I see a woman who discovered that saying no is not cruelty, it is survival. I see Eleanor Miller, free at last. And if you who are listening identify with my story, if you have also been a victim of abuse from your own family, I want you to know this. You deserve respect, you deserve dignity, you deserve unconditional love. And it is never, ever too late to stand up for yourself. Have you lived through or do you know someone who has gone through something similar? Tell me in the comments. And if this story touched your heart, give me your like and subscribe to the channel so that this message reaches someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes, just sometimes, a story of pain can become a story of hope.